People are seriously sleeping on the Utah Jazz and their championship potential right now. Now, let me be clear. I do not expect you to have the Utah Jazz as the title favorites. I certainly don't have them as the title favorites, and in fact, I don't even think you should have them as the favorites to get out of the Western Conference. However, the amount of people who do not believe in this team whatsoever is crazy right now. There are a whole bunch of people who don't even consider this team a legit contender in the West, and I just don't really understand. I know they're the Jazz, okay? I know they're the Jazz, and they're not a big popular team. They don't have a real superstar on the same level as anybody else. Even the Suns have Chris Paul, and he is better than Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell. But seriously, this is a team with the third best offense and the fourth best defense in the NBA, with a +9 net rating, and in a normal season, they would be a 60-win team. This season, they are still first in the entire NBA in record, despite the fact that they have had quite a few injuries. Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley have both missed significant time towards the end of the season, and yet, the Jazz have just kept on winning. Not quite as much as they were early in the season, but still, this team has been phenomenal without their second and third best player, and it's crazy to me how much people are underrating this team. If you have a 60-win equivalent team that is not the 2015 Atlanta Hawks, okay, then you should be considered a title contender. The Bucks last year may not have been the favorite for the NBA to win it all, but they certainly should have been a team that people considered a legit contender, because you don't win that many games if you are not a title contending team. You just don't. Let's look at this team. First of all, we have who I think is actually becoming the most underrated player in the entire NBA, and that is Rudy Gobert. Now you look at his stats, he's averaging 14, 13, and 1, and 3 blocks a game, on 68% shooting, but he doesn't take threes. He's a mediocre free throw shooter. On offense, he really doesn't do that much. He catches lobs, he's a phenomenal pick and roll player and screener, but he doesn't do that much on offense. He's not going to post you up, he's not going to shoot any jump shots of any kind, and people just act like because he has underperformed in the playoffs, he's not a good defender. This man might be the best defender in the league, and at the very least, he is one of the two best this season. It's between him and Ben Simmons, and while I do think Ben should win the award, I'm finding it harder and harder to get mad at the idea that Rudy Gobert would win it over him, because his advanced defensive stats, he leads the league in, literally every single advanced stat category when it comes to defense. It's absolutely insane, and in fact, he leads NBA history in multiple advanced stat categories when it comes to defense. He's up there ahead of guys like Ben Wallace, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem Olajuwon. It's insane how much his defensive impact has been this season on a team that, without him, really isn't the greatest defensive team in the league. You got Mike Conley, who's a very solid defender, but after him, Derek Favors is a good defender off the bench, but he doesn't play with Rudy Gobert. And you got guys who are okay, like Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal might even be slightly above average, but Donovan Mitchell is a below-average defender. Bojan Bogdanovic is a below-average defender. Same thing with Joe Ingles, same thing with Jordan Clarkson. This is not an elite defensive team, but they are fourth in the league, because Rudy Gobert is so goddamn good. And yes, maybe he will have some issues in the playoffs. However, you can't just ignore the fact that this is the best rim protector in the NBA right now, and that means something. Even if he does tend to struggle switching, I don't know, man. I really think that Rudy Gobert is going to hold up better in the playoffs, at least better than he has before. There are certain mismatches, and I see people saying, oh, we can't defend Nikola Jokic. Nobody in the league can defend Nikola Jokic, okay? Nobody in the league can shut down Nikola Jokic. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter that Rudy Gobert can't. Nobody can. But after him, the rest of this team is fucking stacked. You got Donovan Mitchell, who is an all-star level player. He's averaging 26 points a game on very good efficiency, along with 5 assists, which I believe is a career high, and he's not turning the ball over too awful much, and his defense has been better this season, even though I'd still say he's a slight negative. You got Mike Conley, Very good player on both ends of the floor, great facilitator, great shooter, great playmaker. The dude handles the ball well, he plays good defense. He's a phenomenal player. I'm so glad he finally made the All-Star team this year. He's going to come back in a few days. Donovan Mitchell does have a slight injury concern with his ankle, and that could affect the Utah Jazz. However, nobody seems to be even talking about this when they say why they don't believe in the Jazz. The reason is just basically, I don't believe in the Jazz because they're the Jazz. And that's stupid. Assuming Donovan Mitchell comes back fine for the playoffs, that's my assumption for this video, for the record, okay? If Donovan Mitchell is gone, yeah, they might lose in the first round. But assuming he comes back, okay? You got 3 All-Star level players now, one of whom is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year. Then you got Bojan Bogdanovic, who's having a phenomenal, as he always does, hyper-efficient 17-point-per-game season. Okay, he's a great player. Royce O'Neal is a great little role player on that team. He's a secondary defender as like the power forward. He's a solid guy. He's switchable. He can hit open shots. Then off the bench, you have the 2 leading 6th Man of the Year candidates in Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson. 2 phenomenal offensive players. Clarkson is averaging 18 points a game on okay efficiency, and Ingles is averaging 12 points a game on amazing efficiency, and is also having a phenomenal passing season with 5 assists a game and only 2 turnovers. Then you got Georges Niang and Derek Favors rounding out the bench. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about Niang, so I'm not going to comment on him, but his stats look alright. Meanwhile, Derek Favors is a great defensive backup center, can sometimes play backup power forward, and once in a while he can hit an open shot in the paint. This is a phenomenal team. They have depth, they have a great coach, and they have great talent all around in the starting lineup and on the bench. They have the best bench in the NBA, one of the best starting units. I just don't know why people are so low on this team. I've said it like 3 times already, but I know they're the Jazz. I know they're the Utah Jazz. Nobody gives a crap about Utah. Okay? I don't give a crap about Utah. Nobody does. No one has since Karl Malone and John Stockton were there. However, you can't just dismiss the number 1 seed in the entire NBA because they happen to be the Jazz. No, they don't have a true superstar. No, they shouldn't be the title favorites. But all you people out there who are saying that the Jazz are not even real contenders, that they're a first or second round out at absolute best, you people are sleeping on a very, very talented team, and whoever does take out the Jazz, because I do expect them to get taken out at some point in these playoffs, I expect it to be a very difficult series for that team. You all need to watch out for the Jazz. They are not a team that anyone wants to match up with in the playoffs.